The Unholy, starring Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is now out in theaters. This is a supernatural horror film where a disgraced journalist stumbles upon a young girl in a town that is in the middle of nowhere who can speak to the Virgin Mary and perform miracles. However, it has a twisted and dark turn. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I thought about this film. Did I love it? Did I hate it? But before that, I want you guys to let me know in the comments below. What did you guys think of The Unholy? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's dive into this review of The Unholy.
Perfect.
Okay, so The Unholy. Look, I watched the trailers for The Unholy. I was like, yes, this looks epic, this looks good. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I love him. I love everything he's in, he's so good. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, this has such a great idea and concept, and it looked really, really good as well in the trailers. So I went and watched it, and I was thinking, haha, I'm so excited for this, I cannot wait. When I go into a horror film, what am I expecting? Look, I'm not expecting to have the greatest story ever. I would like a little bit of story, yes. I would like some characters that I can relate to, that I actually care about, to make me feel for them when things happen in horror films. That's what I'm looking for. But majorly, the biggest thing I'm looking for is to be shit scared, to be thrilled, to be on the edge of my seat, to be sitting there like, oh my god, I've shit myself right now. Did this film deliver on that? No. No, didn't deliver on any of those. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a very disappointing one. I've got to say, I'm very disappointed in The Unholy. There is no scares. I mean, there's like a few, like there's one or two jump scares in it. Other than that, I never really was scared or on the edge of my seat or felt thrilled or anything like that. Which is a shame, because that's what I'm really looking for in a horror film. That's like the major thing I want. And I never got any of that in this whole entire film. This, you could basically not say this is a horror film. Because there's really no real like major horror elements really. It's a supernatural film, definitely. I guess you could say the demon lady, Mary, is like sort of like a horror element, you could say that, but I never once really felt like I was watching a horror film. I felt like I was watching a pretty bad film that just random people made. To be honest, that's what it felt like. And I was just like, what is this crap? Look, it didn't start off well for me, because we jumped straight into it. We jumped straight into seeing Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character straight away. No backstory, no nothing. We're just boom, straight in. He goes straight to the town. So there's nothing, anything like that. So you're thinking, okay, cool. We're jumping right into it. Cool. That's fine. That's fine. However, the way that the first two acts move in this film are very, very slow. They're supposed to be build up, but nothing happens. There's no pushing of the story forward or anything like that. There's no development of any characters. There's no development of the story or anything like that. It's only until the third act when people, mainly our main characters, start figuring out what is actually happening. Who is really behind this? What is actually behind this supernatural miracle of things that are happening in this little town? They finally start doing it, and that's when things start to pick up. And that bit was probably the best part, was when they were figuring it out and trying to understand who and what is really happening in this town. And that was the best part of it. So the mysterious element of them going on a crime hunt was really the best part. That's pretty sad. The whole first two acts are just nothing. Really nothing. I would have liked if the first two acts had other people and characters start to push back and really start to figure out what is actually going on, and we see the consequences of what happens when that happens. None of that happens. So realistically, there is no real stakes or anything in this film. I never felt like anyone was in major danger or anything like that, or in any trouble, because they never really showed this force of nature this dark entity to be a major threat and actually kill people. It's only until you start getting to that final act that sort of happens, and I'm kind of like, if you had this throughout the film of people like dying and disappearing and that, this would give me more weight and make me feel more like, oh my god, okay, they need to stop this right now because something's happening and people are dying. This is serious. They didn't give us that. The character development of the characters, I didn't really care for any of the characters. To be honest, I did not care. The only one I slightly cared for was Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character because they gave us a little bit of backstory of what he's gone through in his life. But I think we could have had like flashbacks to that, of him in that scene where things happen in his life. I think would have been more powerful and made me really more connect with his character. Because then I can see and understand what he's going through and why he's doing what he's doing. But they didn't really do that. He was the only one I was attached to. Everyone else I don't really care for. I could not give a two shits about, to be honest. So when they died, there was no emotional attachment, no weight, no nothing, and I was not shocked or anything. I was like, yeah, okay. It is predictable as well, I will say that. I could tell things were going to happen beforehand. Like, look, you can have a film that's very predictable, that's fine, as long as the execution is done correctly. I don't think the execution was done correctly here. The way that they executed these, what's it called? The way that you could predict it, the way that it was executed was very, very poor in the sense that, yes, you could easily see that was going to come and that was going to happen, but it was like very coincidental that certain events happened to lead up to this. There's a lot of coincidence in this movie. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, that's pretty convenient that she is there. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many conveniences throughout this whole entire film, and that really took away from the film as well. So that's unfortunate. Look, Jeffrey Dean Morgan was great in the film. I have no problems with the performances in this film. They were decent enough. That's fine. But also the ending, very lackluster, very underwhelming ending, I would say. And it also contradicts itself. Now, when you watch the film, if you have seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. There's a certain thing when they find out who's behind it, what this dark entity really is. And there's like a catch to, like a catch where something, this entity does something and it's like it can only exist through something. However, in the ending, that something perishes and then comes back. But once it perishes, this dark entity goes away. But now it's back alive, so that technically means it comes back alive, so this entity will be back. So this whole movie is pointless, because at the end, the dark entity should be back. So that's a plot hole there, and it literally contradicts its whole, like, the whole rule it made. So I don't know. I thought that was very underwhelming and very, yeah, it's a disappointing film. Is it the worst film of the year? No, I wouldn't say it's the worst film of the year, because there's some other films that I absolutely hate so far this year. But it is a dull film. It is boring. It's not really, if you're looking to be scared and have a sit down, turn the lights off and stuff like that and be like in the moment of horror and stuff and like getting that adrenaline rush and stuff like that, this is not the film for you. You won't get that. I don't think you will. But again, as like I always say, go and see it to form your own opinion. This is just how I felt about it. Yeah, it was very, very disappointing to me. So let me know in the comments below, what did you guys think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.